In the heart of Rome, behind walls of marble and gold, lived an empress whose hunger could not be contained. By day, Messalina shined with grace, seated beside Emperor Claudius, her beauty praised in poems, her charity admired by the people. But when the sun fell and the palace grew quiet, she shed the crown's weight. For Messalina, the palace was a cage of ritual and silence. And beyond those gilded gates, she longed for something darker, more dangerous, more real. Messalina left behind the polished banquets of the Palatine and descended into Subura, Rome's notorious pleasure district. The alleys smelled of wine, sweat, and incense. Laughter turned to whispers as strangers passed. Disguised in plain wool, her face darkened with soot, she became no empress, only a shadow among shadows. Here, the most powerful woman in Rome chased the thrill of being no one at all. At first, she only watched, the painted women bartering with sly smiles and sharp eyes. But soon, watching was not enough. Messalina stepped forward, offering herself for less, luring men away from Rome's most seasoned courtesans. Whispers spread of her stamina, her piercing gaze, her ability to outlast and outshine. To her, this was not about pleasure. It was conquest. In Subura, stripped of crown and title, she became a champion of secret games. Word of the mysterious woman spread quickly through Rome. Senators, merchants, and even gladiators began to wager fortunes on contests of desire. Among them stood Messalina, veiled and disguised, yet impossible to ignore. Her rivals seethed, her patrons cheered, and with every victory, her influence grew. In time, Subura whispered a new title for her, the Queen of Shadows. For Messalina had turned lust into spectacle, and spectacle into power. But the games were only the beginning. Messalina's hunger grew beyond fleeting victories. In a hidden villa disguised as a bathhouse, she built a kingdom within Rome. No common women worked there, only patrician daughters and widows drawn by debt or despair. Each guest was made to feel chosen, and in that illusion, tongues loosened. Senators whispered secrets, generals boasted of plans, merchants confessed their crimes. And Messalina gathered them all. Her brothel was no longer a house of pleasure. It was a shadow court of information, where she reigned unseen, weaving a web from which no man could escape. Her empire of secrets demanded spectacle. During the Festival of Flora, Rome gave her the perfect stage. Garlands lined the streets, wine flowed like rivers, and indulgence was cloaked in the name of the gods. Within her villa, hymns turned to whispers, prayers to wagers, and rituals to temptation. Senators embraced rivals' wives, generals reclined beside dancers, merchants boasted under the haze of wine. Messalina moved among them like a priestess of desire, ensuring that every guest committed some act they would never wish revealed. And in that guilt, she bound them tighter than chains. At the height of her power, Messalina made her boldest move. She married another man, Senator Silius, while Claudius, her husband, still ruled as emperor. The wedding was no secret. It unfolded in broad daylight, with roses crowning her hair and gold embroidered in her gown. Senators and matrons watched in awe and horror. It was more than scandal. It was a direct insult to imperial dignity. The Empress of Rome had declared, in full view of the city, that her husband's power meant nothing. News of the wedding reached Emperor Claudius, and Rome trembled. To his advisors, it was not scandal, it was treason. Guards stormed the villa, breaking the festival apart. Silius was seized and executed without trial. Messalina ran through her chambers, stripped of silk, begging for allies. But fear dissolved loyalty. One by one, her friends abandoned her, selling secrets to save themselves. The empire she had built unraveled in a single night. Messalina begged for an audience with Claudius, but none came. Instead, she was cornered by soldiers and forced to meet her end. Some say she was granted the chance to take her own life, others that the soldiers struck her down. She was just 23 years old. Claudius ordered her name erased from inscriptions, her statues destroyed, her memory condemned. Rome sought to bury her forever, but silence is never perfect. Though Rome tried to erase her, the city never stopped speaking her name. In whispers, in poems, in scandalous verses, Messalina lived on. To some, she was a cautionary tale of greed and lust. To others, she was a woman who dared wield power as ruthlessly as any man. She blurred the line between empress and courtesan, priestess and conspirator. She turned desire into a weapon and nearly ruled an empire with secrets. Messalina died young, but in memory, she became immortal. And as history reminds us, even the strongest marble crumbles, but whispers endure forever. Good night.